Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another Leonardo, and it's an Officina Italiana Momento Zero for review. So this pen was loaned to me by a friend, and I'd like to thank him for loaning me this pen for review. So let's lift the box lid here, and the first thing you see here is a Leonardo guarantee, and it talks about the quality of the workmanship. You also get a Momento Zero collection brochure, and this shows you some of the pens that Leonardo make, some of the material. You can see here the Mediterraneo that I have in my collection, and then you have the Coral and the Blue Profondo. And then we have the pen, and this is a Leonardo Officina Italiana pen, but as you'll see here it says IZODS, and this was an IZODS retailer in the UK, limited edition run. So IZODS went to Salvatore at Leonardo and wanted a dark Hawaii made. So I already have the regular Hawaii, which is this one on the bottom, and then this is the dark Hawaii. So you can kind of see the difference there that is going on between those two materials. So it definitely is a dark Hawaii. Now, as with all Momento Zeros, you will see here that you have a cap finial that comes to a point. You have a roller style clip. The cap tapers right in at the end of the cap, and then it tapers all the way out to what is this cap center band, and on the center band it says IZODS and nothing else. And then you have another little ring here, and then the body tapers back out to this ring, and then to what is a piston filling knob. Yes, this is a piston filling pen, it's not a cartridge converter. If I unscrew the pen, or the cap, you will see here it has a Leonardo Officina Italiana steel nib in a gold colour, and it's an extra fine nib with an ABS plastic feed. And you can see the section there. You get this rather sort of like funnel type section. These sections tend to be on the thin side, so if you like a thin section, then you may like this. It then tapers out here to the threads. Then you have this ring here, and then the rest of the body. So this is a piston filling pen. Now the size in my hand is actually quite nice. I can, if I wish to do so, post the cap, and the cap will post quite securely. These caps on the Leonardo Momento Zeros are not heavy, so you can actually write with this quite comfortably, at least I can. It's not back weighted in any way, so for me this is actually quite a nice sort of weight and size, although typically I don't normally post my caps. One thing you do have to watch out for here is this is a piston filling knob, so if you are not careful and you twist it, you might engage this, although I think Leonardo actually posted a lot more deeper, so you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Now I find that the size and weight is really nice in this pen. Now if I show you the imprint here, it says Leonardo Officina Italiana, and this is number 3 of 50. So this was a limited edition run of 50 with IZODS in the UK. But you can see here this material is really quite nice. It's a beautiful dark blue sort of Hawaii there. So you get these striated sort of patterns going on here that kind of really more reminiscence of a beach. Maybe you can see it a little bit more here in the piston filling knob, but there's quite a bit of chatoyance that's going on in that body there, and these materials are quite nice. but in the size of my hand, I find this is a really comfortable pen. So these, I believe, are almost sold out, and these were a dark Hawaii. Now you can still get the dark Hawaii in another of some of the Leonardo pens. So I've seen this in the Grandes as well, the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grandes. They do come with a gold nib and also a piston, so they tend to be a lot more expensive. IZODS went for the cheaper option here with a steel nib, although they did include the piston filling mechanism, which is unlike a lot of the Momento Zeros that really do just have a cartridge converter system in here. So this will hold around about 1.5 milliliters of ink, so this is actually quite a good size of capacity here. But just look at the pattern here. It's a really beautiful pattern, and this is a really lovely pen. I saw these when they were initially announced at IZODS, and I was tempted to actually get one, although I felt that really if I wanted one I'd probably go for a gold nib version, and they didn't have any gold nibs, they only had steel nibs. So for me, I like this pen. I think with that, let's do a size, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the size of the pen, fully capped, we're looking at 142 millimeters in length. The length of the cap is 65 millimeters in length. The length of the body to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we are looking at 128 millimeters in length. So that's a nice length pen. So I think let's do a weight check. So uninked, we are looking at just over 23 grams in weight, and obviously that has a piston mechanism. The cap is just over 8 grams in weight, and then uninked again, the body, we're looking at just over 15 grams in weight. So that's a lightweight pen for sure. I think with that, let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Positano blue. We have a Momento Zero in the blue Hawaii. We have a Momento Zero in the dark Hawaii. We have a Mediterraneo. We have a Momento Zero in the red Stardust. We have a Momento Zero in the blue Stardust. We have a Style and Steel in the Roman bronze. We have a Momento Zero Grande in the sand, a Momento Zero Grande in the Amazon, and then we have an Armando Simonica Bologna Extra, and this is the blue Lucians. So let's do a writing sample. So this is the Leonardo, and it's the Officina Italiana, and it's the Momento Zero, but it is the IZODS limited edition, and the limited edition it's a model of, or a numbered range of 50. Now it does have an extra fine nib which is very smooth, and this is a Bock nib. Now the ink in here I've got is Waterman, and it's, depending on how you call it, it's Florida or Serenity blue. So Waterman changed the name from Florida to Serenity. It's the same ink, same mixture of ink. So in terms of line variation, this is an extra fine nib, and it does really write, I would say, a little bit more on the fine side for me. I can push the nib, because it is a steel nib, a little bit harder and get probably what is a medium line out of this nib. And as you can see, there is no hard starts or skips. Now, in terms of ink wetness or nib wetness, it's not an overly wet nib, and typically I find that with a lot of extra fine nibs is that they tend not to be super wet. So a lot of people like using extra fine nibs, especially writing in journals or notebooks, because it's a lot easier to flip the page and not have to wait for the ink to dry. I'm typically not an extra fine nib person. I tend to prefer really fine and mostly I would say medium nibs, but this nib writes very well out of the box. It writes very, very smoothly, and it is actually quite a nice writing experience. There's no scratchiness and no toothiness. It actually writes quite nice. So what do I like and not like about the pen? Well, this is a Momento Zero. I love the Momento Zeros. I like my Hawaii that I have, which I will show you again, which is this one here. And so the Hawaii is on the lower of the two pens. The dark Hawaii is on the top. So I like both of these Hawaiis. I like the dark Hawaii. I'd say I like the regular Hawaii, the blue Hawaii, a little bit more than the dark Hawaii. But I do like the pen. I like the size. I like the weight. I like how the nib writes, and I like that this has a piston mechanism in it. What I wish though is that it did have a gold nib, but I know that that probably would have added maybe another 200 to 250 to the price of this pen. So I think probably going for a steel nib was probably the right way to go in terms of this pen. It certainly would probably sell a lot more quicker, which I think was the idea behind it, IZODS doing this. So there you have it. That's my review of the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero IZODS limited edition in the dark Hawaii. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.